What is up, Big 12? It is Tuesday night in America. That can mean only one thing. It's time for another episode of your favorite internet, YouTube-centric Big 12 show, The Biggest 12. Here we are. Once again, thank you for being with me. It's me, your host, Clint Foster. Very excited about the show that we have today. It's Uniform Day. In fact, let me turn my hat around because we also got to rep, arguably the best basketball team in the nation right now. Uniform Night on The Biggest 12. Okay, we're going to talk uniforms, what goes into designing uniforms, who's got the best uniforms. Hopefully y'all have a lot to weigh in. Tell me why you think, BYU's got such a sharp look. Tell me why. We're going to get into all that. I got a great guest for you. But first, you know what you got to do. If you haven't already done it, you got to subscribe to the channel. Come on, man. What's taking you so long? At Big 12 VOCFB, Big 12 Voice of College Football, right here. We're every Tuesday night, but got a lot more awesome content throughout the week on this channel. You got to subscribe. You got to like the video. You got to share it with your family and friends. You got to get on your bike and knock on doors and say, have you heard about the Biggest 12? You've got to be a part of this. We got to grow this show. This is a movement that we have going on here. Okay. Yes. So be a part of it at Big 12 VOCFB. Subscribe. Also follow me on Twitter at Clint_Foster55 and follow my YouTube channel. Just got a new video out for y'all as of yesterday. That one was 48 full hours after having written the thing and revised the thing a couple times of putting that together for y'all. Go check it out. Big 12 Rivalry Draft 2024 edition. You're going to want to see it. It's very, I think it's pretty funny. I think it is. So you should check it out. So without further ado, let me welcome in our guest. This is a very dear friend of mine, former boss, dare I say, mentor figure, Matt Lewis, ladies and gentlemen. He is the director of, what is it now, player personnel at TCU?
Yeah. So we're doing a lot of the off the field stuff with these guys now. So here we are.
Okay. Yes, but why? People are saying, who is this guy? Why is he your guest on the uniform episode? Well, folks, Matt Lewis was the head equipment manager at TCU for how many years?
10
years, and then several other stops before that. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. Few of, Iowa State, Wake Forest, Marshall. So,
yeah. So we have a lot of West Virginia fans usually that tune into the show. So, we'll whatever the opposite of Hail West Virginia is, we'll give them one of those. Go Herd. And
we are Marshall.
What was that?
We are Marshall.
Yeah, we are Marshall. Yes. But so you've got some years in the uniform game. So you have some expertise, I believe, that you can bring to this conversation. Matt, first of all, but before we get into anything with uniforms, designing uniforms, all that stuff, the biggest uniform news that hit the internet and lit the Big 12 world on fire, I'm sure you probably saw it, Baylor's new uniforms. I'll put them on the screen here. Do you have any thoughts on this new uniform drop down at the school in Waco?
Yeah, it's Baylor. Come on. I mean, if I can be honest. No, in all seriousness, it's this is kind of Nike's new MO, if you will, where they're kind of going a little more in the plane, if you will, where they're kind of dumbing things down, where they've been pretty eccentric with things in the past. Again, they're going with a little more simple design as they move forward. So, some interesting looks. I'm not a fan of Baylor's mustard yellow.
No, not at all.
Really like their old gold that they had before. The black is a cool look, and again, I know that's about recruiting, and you can never go wrong with all white that you see there. And of course their Baylor green, but yeah, if I would love to see them return to their old gold as opposed to the mustard yellow.
Yeah, I think that is one thing, maybe the first time ever that I've seen TCU and Baylor fans united in the Twitter sphere is the gold was better than the yellow. Bring back the gold. Nobody likes the yellow. But man, I looked at these uniforms and I said that's the Green Bay Packers. That's the Green Bay Packers with a B on their helmet. Like,
for sure.
What are we doing? What are we doing? But yeah, you mentioned everybody's going simple. All of the uniform drops that I've seen lately, it's just, oh my gosh, look at this exciting new uniform. Sleeve stripes. That's all we've got going on.
Yeah,
That's the big earth-shattering thing. But I guess, hey, as long as the kids like it, and if you're winning, who really cares, right?
that's exactly right.
Yeah. So, Matt, tell us a little bit about, you were the head equipment manager at TCU for 10 years. You really oversaw TCU's kind of uniform renaissance, dare I say. I mean, my freshman year was the first pro combat uniform. And all of a sudden, before you know it, TCU's got all of these extravagant uniforms and alternate looks and, kind of like Oregon Junior down in Fort Worth. Can you kind of walk everyone through the uniform design process, what goes into making a new uniform? How does all of that happen? Give us a peer behind the curtain there.
Absolutely. No, it was a privilege to be a part of that time frame in TCU history, to be honest with you. And honestly, Nike really did a lot of the legwork with our uniform design and getting us to where we were. They came in and would do a lot of historical research about TCU in a lot of different facets. I mean, they would pull in things from the archways across campus, the fountains. I mean, they would talk through all of these different things in thinking through what their uniform design was all about. So that was really cool to be a part of. While we had some input as to what would go into that design too, a little bit. Honestly, when they would come to us and explain historically why they were doing certain things with the uniform, it was really hard to go against and kind of combat anything, no pun intended there, kind of combat what they had to design for us. So we were pretty fortunate again to be a part of that first pro combat. In all honesty, if you're looking at it right now, we were, I guess, maybe the only group of 5 team, if you will, at that point in time that was participating. So we're really fortunate. And I tell you what, if you would have seen the looks from recruits and things like that when we're able to display those uniforms to those recruits around that time, man, it's like we were rock stars. They really took to them. I think our fans did too. At that point in time, we it was quite a departure away from, what we had at that point in time to this particular look that you see on the screen there. And man, we had a lot of fun with it. And then obviously progressed over the next few years into some really cool looks and designs.
Yeah, I wanted to throw it up on the screen there because I realized, I said pro combat. People might not know what I'm talking about. This is the old from 2009, the spit blood. You have the blood lines going down the middle of the helmet, and it's kind of a frog skin-esque look. Iconic look, dare I say. Iconic.
Absolutely.
So was it that they gave y'all a couple of options to choose from? Hey, we're thinking about this, or this. And then, what was the input process like?
Yeah, so honestly, they came to us, and boy, this was several months before the season. We were probably talking 7 to 8 months prior to the season even happening about this pro combat design. And honestly, they had a storyboard built when they came in to present to us. And when they presented, it was the AD, the head football coach, myself, our director of football ops at that point in time was Mike Sinkfield, former equipment manager as well. So they brought all of these designs and things into us at that point in time. And again, just kind of told the story. I don't recall us making many, if any, tweaks to that first design that they showed us, because they honestly just laid it out so well. And obviously they were telling the story of the horned frog at that point in time. And so that was that was pretty cool. And that whole look was just, again, it was really cool at that point in time.
So back in the day, I feel like it's not this way so much anymore, but back in the day with new uniforms, it was very like we were guarding state secrets, and I mean, I can remember a couple of anecdotes about oh my God, the chrome helmet has been leaked. Like, what's going to happen? This is terrible. When did because I feel like things are a little different now. Now there's a lot more, it feels like uniforms get announced way ahead of time, and there's a lot more hype around the uniforms. When do you think that change occurred? or do you think it's a program to program thing?
Yeah, I think that change occurred, especially as social media just really ramped up over the past 10, 12 years. It was harder to keep things a secret, you know. And the other part to it was, you know, you didn't have people wanting to put stuff like this out so readily. So now we try to just go ahead and get ahead of the game. You might as well, once you get the design built, done, and you want to be able to show it to the public, you might as well get it out there for fans to kind of kick around, if you will, for a few months prior to season, if possible. So yeah, I think that kind of changed over the years, just because you might as well get out in front of it, have a little fun with it as well. I think Oregon and the Pro Combat Series kind of taught us all to do that. Let's have some fun with uniforms and be able to get out of you know, just some of the norms, if you will, with these uniforms. So yeah, I think that's, to me, that was part of the change.
Yeah. So I got to talk about probably my favorite TCU helmet of all time. And I think you probably know which direction I'm going with this. You know, Utah thinks they invented putting a rose on the helmet, but come on, you can't get any better with the rose in the Horned Frog's mouth. Can you tell us the backstory with this helmet, how this helmet came to be, and what your personal feelings are about this helmet?
Absolutely. Probably my favorite helmet of all time from TCU. I did have a hand in this one. And to be honest with you, when we had the clinching game, if you will, at New Mexico, that we knew at that point in time we were going to get invited to the Rose Bowl. If you remember, I think you were there along with me. You saw players walking around the field with roses in their mouth. And so I honestly was driving into work one day thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? I think that'd be a cool look if I could just get some artwork done. And so at that point in time, again, we had been working with a particular Nike designer. And, you know, I called him up directly and I said, hey, his name was Josh. And I said, Josh, can you draw this out? I just want to see this on paper, just so we can see. So anyways, that was kind of the inspiration for it, honestly, from our own players. I then went, you know, we obviously make T-shirts. We did the logo on some warm-ups, all that type of thing. And then we ended up, I did some artwork for the helmet logo and showed that to the head football coach. And, you know, he wasn't crazy about it.
I don't know this story. I don't know this.
Yeah. So he wasn't crazy about it, but he agreed to it. He thought, you know what, let's give it a shot. Little detail I left out was, I believe at that point in time, most, if not all, people who had worn the rose on their helmet design had lost the game. And with our superstition, as it were at that time, and you remember it well, with superstition, I just kind of kept that in my back pocket. And so anyways, here we are. We get to put this on the helmet. And I think it ended up being a pretty classic and cool look for us.
Yes. I mean, you know, if we had lost the game, it's probably a lot less iconic. But yes,
for sure.
But yeah, I just such great memories. Love that helmet. Love that game, man. All right. So do you have a favorite current TCU uniform combination? You know, it's so fun these days. You literally never see the same uniform twice. Which I think some people actually kind of take issue with. Like, oh my gosh, we haven't worn, you know, purple at home like this whole time, just like a purple jersey. Do you have a favorite combination in the current TCU uniforms?
Absolutely. I really like, honestly, it's kind of a classic look for us, to be honest with you, but I really like when we go a purple helmet, purple jersey, black pant. I just like that particular combination for us. It seems to, I don't know. It seems like a great look, especially if we're playing at night at home. You know, so that's a big favorite of mine and has been over the past several years.
Yeah. Trying to think of a good game where I could find that we wore that. I think we wore white pants against Texas last year. This is like an old game we used to play in the equipment room. Okay, what game is this?
Yeah, exactly.
See this uniform. Okay, unfortunately, this is the only one that comes to mind. This is not a fun game, but here's a look at that uniform. Hold on. Shabam. There we go. Yes. Purple helmet, purple jersey, black pant. Yeah, very classic look for TCU.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where do you stand? And hey, don't give me your full opinion if it's going to get you in trouble. But where do you stand on the red uniforms? Because I may be in the minority here. I do not like them at all. I love that we typically win in them, and I love that the kids love them. I don't like them. I don't like the anthracite with the red numbers. It's too much red. I like the red more as an accent. What do you think about the spit blood red uniforms that TCU's been wearing a lot these days?
Yeah, I'm kind of like you. I mean, I think originally I like them, for the kids' sake, if you will. I think overall, I would have loved to have seen us kind of reverse out that number, make it a purple number with a red outline.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I think that would have been a cool look. I think the issue was the way that purple looked on that anthracite. It just didn't pop enough. And you would have had trouble seeing that purple, even with the red outline, white outline, all that type of thing. So, it's okay. Again, players like it, to your point. So I kind of go with it for them, if nothing else. And I think recruits kind of, gravitate toward it as well.
Yeah. I mean, and hey, we've won lots of great games in them. I got the Oklahoma State overtime game up here and beaten Texas in them, and beat Baylor, ruined Baylor's season in them with Chandler Morris's moment in the sun. But yeah, I just think they look horrific. Not a fan, but but a lot of people love them. A lot of younger folks I know love them. Yes, here's one in the comments. Younger gen approves. Yeah, we got the kids love them. So you know what? That's great. That's who's playing the games. That's who we're trying to attract. Wonderful.
That's right.
Okay, so do you have any other teams in the Big 12? Like, if you couldn't say TCU, who do you think has the best overall uniforms in the Big 12, and why?
And I'm going to go with a newcomer here to the league. I'm going to go with the Utes.
Okay.
I've been a big fan of their uniform game for several years, and maybe it's some of the classic matchups we had against them back in the day. But I think they've always had some pretty cool looks. They like to get edgy with some of the stuff they do too. So I've been a big fan of Utah and what they do uniform wise over the past several years.
Yeah, I mean the logo that's a really great logo with the U on the shield and the feather, kind of Washington Redskins-esque in some ways. But I do like that they've been doing the interlocking U a lot more lately too. I think that's a good look. And did you see I'm gonna see if I can find them. They had some helmets for one game. Maybe it was last year, maybe it was the year before, that were all hand painted.
Yes.
I'm gonna see if I can find those.
And that's another reason why I kind of like some of the stuff they do, because they get out there and they do some stuff just like you're saying, the hand painted helmets that are just unbelievable.
Yeah, here we go. Here's one. All right, let me get it on the screen here real quick. I'm doing a lot more Googling than I do in a typical show. Here we go. Yeah, I think that they were memorial helmets for maybe two former players that have passed away, if I remember correctly. Man,
correct.
Is that's the sort of thing? How does the budget work for uniforms, by the way? Because there's got to be a budget for this sort of stuff. That's got to be expensive to do a helmet like that.
For sure, and I'm sure they've probably figured out a way to do some sort of sale afterwards. Now, in this particular case, you're probably not going to sell these, obviously, because it's a memorial type thing. But you can do some fundraising around these things to help yourselves out, especially when you're talking about helmets like this, that the man hours going into painting that and getting that ready to go is obviously pretty substantial. So, I would, I'm sure there's some fundraising that happens to try to help them, make sure they stay within budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Here's your chance for a shot across the bow. Who has the worst uniforms in the Big 12, and why is it Baylor?
You took the words right out of my mouth. That was way too easy. Yeah, again, that's a hard look. I'm not a fan of BYU's look. I'm not gonna lie. You brought it up earlier.
You don't like BYU's look?
I'm not a fan.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
really not. Now, is it classic? Is it iconic? Is it something that's been around a long time? Absolutely. But yeah, and of course, if I have to get a little personal, I mentioned where I worked and where I actually went to school earlier. So the blue and gold of the Mountaineers, I mean, it's hard to swallow. So
yeah. Sounds like anything involving blue or gold, just generally, you're just not going to.
That's right.
Not going to like a whole lot. But look at this. I mean, come on, man. Look at this horrific. Who wants to look at that on a TV? I mean, oh my gosh.
Not me.
No.
I'm out.
That's terrible. Terrible. Do you have any uniform hot takes? I know you have one about the Dallas Cowboys. Do you have any uniform hot takes as it pertains to college football? And if not, I'll let you share your Cowboys hot take.
Not that I can. I'm one's not coming to mind right away. But you're right. The Cowboys one always kind of stuck with me. I just didn't quite understand it. I know there's some historical purpose behind it. But yeah, I always just struggled with it for some reason,
So this is something that I never, ever even noticed about the Cowboys uniforms until you brought it up to me in college. And it has always like stuck with me. And now it's the only thing I can ever notice. You've got 3 different blues happening on the Cowboys uniforms.
Absolutely.
You've got a navy star, you've got a royal blue stripe, and then you've got turquoise pants, which growing up, I was always like, oh, they're silver pants. Duh. No, those are turquoise pants.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the Cowboys wear silver pants with a navy blue jersey, and it looks way better.
Agreed.
Yeah, that is, I mean, I do love that they're historic. It feels very like, Yankees-y, like this is a classic look. But yeah, ever since you brought that up to me, I'm like, oh no, like you ruined them for me.
Sorry, man.
But yeah. Okay. So here's what I want to do right now. I want us to actually see if we can. Well, no, you know what? I'm going to do one other thing first. Alternate uniforms. Do you have a favorite alternate uniform that you've seen in the Big 12 in the last couple of years?
Favorite alternate uniform?
Like the UCF space uniforms, the TCU red uniforms, something along those lines.
You brought up the UCF one. That was one group that I thought about earlier. I love how they got edgy and did a lot of different cool things out there. The space uniform from them was really cool. I think they also did some things. Gosh, I forget what it was a couple of years ago that just, again, unique and different. So I like that. I thought that was pretty cool. I think Arizona State at times can have some kind of cool looks. They've got a tough color combo, but they also do a good job with it, in my opinion, being in the desert and kind of having that desert look, if you will. So I think they've done some fun stuff in the past too with some of their alternates.
Yeah, I know they had an alternate. We had our Arizona State show a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about how they loved whenever they do the sun on the helmet as an alternate. And I'm trying to find it now, and I can't find it anywhere. But do you like the pitchfork, or do you like the little devil that looks kind of like Walt Disney, the Sparky devil?
I'm probably more with the pitchfork, while the Sparky that they had from before, again, is kind of one of their iconic looks. The pitchfork is kind of a more modern and cooler look, if you will. So yeah, I think that's a pretty cool look there.
Yeah, that is a very tough color combination because it's like maroon. Because that's more like a maroon than a garnet, right? And then truly yellow. It's not gold. They use yellow, but it works for the desert, like you said.
Agreed.
All right, so let's do this now. Let's see if we can. I love tier lists on this show. Seems like almost every single show we do a tier list. So I want to see if we can more or less rank all of the uniforms in the Big 12, just teams wise, not every individual uniform. And this will also give us some talking points as we go through. So are you familiar with tier lists, Matt? Have you ever done a tier list?
I don't know if I have.
Okay, so it's pretty simple. You've got S tier, which is the absolute best of the best. It doesn't get any better than this. And then A, B, C, D, think of it like letter grades. Like A is very, very great, B is good, C is okay, and D is, you're failing. This isn't any good at all. This is the worst, right? So I've put together the best photos that I could of these teams' kind of whole uniform looks. We're going to get your takes. So I'll just go through them in the order that they've appeared here on the screen. We were talking about Arizona State. Where would you put Arizona State's uniform ensemble in the grand scheme of the Big 12?
Yeah, I think I want to put them in the A tier.
Okay, the A tier. Because like you said, you like what they've done with their alternates. I mean, that look right there, that home look, the gold, red, gold, I think that's very solid. I love an alternating color palette. So yeah, I agree with you there for A tier. BYU. So okay, here's your hot take. Where are you putting BYU?
Ooh. I'm probably going to slide them to the C tier.
Okay. Yeesh. Man.
Yeah, I know.
Where my Mormons at in the chat? I don't know. I think when they wear the white helmet with the navy blue jersey and the white pants, I think that is just a beautiful look. I think. And I was talking with somebody on Twitter earlier today. As soon as they got rid of the gold trim that they used to have in the mid 2000s, because that was horrific. As soon as they got rid of that, all of their uniforms to me have been pretty solid. But Matt Lewis doesn't like them. Okay.
Well,
so,
the other
people.
if I could throw this out too, come on, decide on a blue. Are we going navy or are we going royal? What are we doing? From week to week.
That's true. That's true.
So if you stuck with the navy, I probably get it a little better, because the guy who ride their bikes and come around and knock on our doors and visit with us, they're usually wearing navy. So
Right.
I probably understand it a little better if you're wearing navy as opposed to the royal. So that's just me, maybe a hot take. I don't know.
Hey, I love it. I love it. And it's your tier list, so that we came here for the expert opinion. Okay. Colorado, the Buffaloes. I mean, I really liked, as much as I hated the result of the game, I did like the gold numbers that they came out with first game of the year last year. What do you think about Colorado's uniform set?
Pretty big fan.
It's a great logo. I love the logo.
Couldn't agree more. I'm going to have to go A tier for them.
A tier. All right, perfect. So far, high on the Pac-12 schools coming in.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Utah. You said you love Utah's uniforms. Where are you putting them?
I'm going to have to put them up on the S level.
Okay. Our first S tier.
Yep.
Let's see if we get any Utah fans in the chat here in a little bit.
Yep.
This is another classic look. It's probably an S tier for me. It's basically just the Dallas Cowboys if all of their colors matched and they use purple instead of blue. Kansas State. Where are you putting Kansas State?
I agree. Classic look. I would probably go more of a B tier with them.
Okay.
Not a big knock there by any means, but just they're okay to me. Maybe it's the Cowboys thing that's infiltrated me. I don't know.
Probably. That probably has something to do with it. Okay, where are we putting Baylor? Where are we putting these Green Bay Packers knockoffs?
Do you even have to ask?
Let's put them down.
Thanks. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're good.
All the way down I-35. Okay. Okay. I like Oklahoma State's uniforms. There is a lot going on, and a lot of people don't like the paisley collar. I kind of like the paisley collar. I think it's kind of cool. I love it when they do the script Cowboys more than Pistol Pete. Where are you putting Oklahoma State?
I think I'm going to have to put them on the A tier.
Okay, there they go.
I'm with you. I do like their logos. I like Pistol Pete. I do like the script state. I think they do, and I like the interlocking OSU that they do. So I think there's some pretty cool stuff there.
A lot of cool stuff. But by the way, and I've said this many times, I want to say it now that you're on the show, probably the most miserable stadium to play in as an equipment manager or player. Those shallow sidelines, no thank you. That is a home field advantage if I've ever seen one. Okay, Houston, University of Houston. Very basic for the most part. I do want to shout out their Love You Blue uniforms, which I'm going to find a picture of, actually. And I don't know if you saw this, but the NFL sent them a cease and desist letter to not wear these anymore. And Houston basically said, screw you. We're going to do what we want to do.
I heard that.
I love these uniforms because I love those old Oilers uniforms. Where would you put the Houston Cougars?
I probably have to put the Cougs probably on the B level.
Okay. Does that include the Love You Blues? I'm trying to get them up on the screen here.
Yeah, I mean, I liked them. Don't get me wrong. I thought, again, a little shout out to the old Oilers look. That probably puts them on a B level for me. If not, I'd probably have them at the C or D level. Not a big fan. Yeah, those are pretty cool.
That is majestic. Okay, that is like Warren Moon is blessing us with these uniforms. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, but we'll B tier. That's fine.
Yep.
I mean, because without the Love You Blues, I mean, what's happening here? It's just okay. They're red and they're white. I mean, okay,
exactly.
Cool. Okay, here's another team that was just so excited about their sleeve stripes. Oh my gosh, innovation. Kansas, the Kansas Jayhawks. Where are you putting Kansas's new uniform set?
Yeah, just the Jayhawks never really did it for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm probably gonna have to put them on the C tier.
Okay, C tier. All right.
Yeah, not a big fan of the whole Kansas look, and
maybe very basic.
Yeah, and honestly, maybe it's just been years of futility that maybe is putting them there for me. But yeah, just not a big fan there.
I mean, these are essentially SMU's current uniform, just with a Jayhawk on the helmet, and no Dallas D. It's very, very basic. You got the name. It's blue. There's stripes. There's numbers. Okay, amazing. We'll save TCU for last. We'll save best for last. We talked about UCF earlier. Where would you put UCF set?
I'm gonna have to put UCF on the A tier.
Okay, A tier for UCF. Is that how much are the space uniforms carrying them to the A tier?
It has somewhat to do with it, but I'll be honest with you, I've really liked their overall look for several years. They've done some really cool things over the years with that black and gold. I've been a fan even before the space uniforms.
A lot of cool details too that you can't really see in this small picture. Like I noticed as I was researching this episode, and they've got like a sword as their helmet stripe. It's a sword coming down to a point as if they're charging into the enemy. I mean, come on, that's great. That's awesome.
Agreed.
Okay, good for them. All right, your former employer with their flesh-colored pants, Iowa State. Where would you put Iowa State on the tier list?
Yeah, Iowa State's done some things to be a little cooler, if you will. They've taken kind of the USC palette as opposed to the kind of the red, really more of a red that they had before. I like it. Better, B tier probably for me with them.
Okay, B tier. Here are those Jack Trice uniforms I was referencing, by the way. Great concept, and I love the helmets.
Absolutely. Yeah,
love the helmets, but the pants did not translate on TV.
Not at all.
Looked like they were Winnie the Pooh in it, is what it looked like. I don't know what it looked like on the sidelines, but that's
not much better
on the couch. And that honestly, Matt, so I've been saying for years, like, oh my gosh, I want to see TCU do a 1938 throwback. That'd be so cool. That'd be so fun. This game, literally, I was like, I'm never asking for that again. Because I know we'd have to wear those same khaki pants. That's what everyone wore back then. I'm like, nope, never mind. Bad call. Like, we don't need to do that.
And it's a very hard thing to try to replicate. I don't know how you would get there, to be honest with you, without probably sublimating a pant or something. So,
yeah. You were there, by the way, during the cyclone, the helmet decal that had the cyclone with the cardinal, right? Was those your years?
Absolutely. Yeah, sure was.
Okay, I'm gonna put up a picture of this for people who don't remember them, because I loved these helmets. They're just so kitschy and just wonderful. It's just college football to me. What is your opinion on the what would you even call that? Cardinal, the anthropomorphic cyclone. Let me
see. No, I was just like you. I love that look. I love that logo. I thought that was really cool. And it kind of encompassed the mascot, encompassed what I thought was, something that's pretty well known to the state of Iowa, that type of thing. So I really like that whole look, to be honest with you. So yeah, I thought that was awesome. I actually liked it a little better with a darker mask. We used to have a navy mask when I was there, but this was kind of a change and a little more for them when they went to the white mask here. They added the white into the pant and the stripes and things like that. So, which that was a good look. But yeah, I was a big fan of.
Oh, you're talking
that
Seneca
logo.
Wallace days, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, hold on. Let me. We got to get this up for the kids, right?
Heck yeah.
The kids got to know about Seneca Wallace and the Navy face mask. Okay, yes, look at that.
There we are.
That's
we
great.
are.
Yeah, I love the cycling car. I mean, yes, their current uniforms, they're classy, they're solid, and yeah, it is kind of more in that USC vein. But I mean, this is great. Come on, this is beautiful. This is the lovable losers, right? Cyclones. Put them in the Houston Bowl. Come on.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Let me get the tier list back open and see who we're on. We got up next. Okay, Texas Tech. Now, this is a school who they have as many hits as they have misses, I think. And I believe that they're fixing to go to an Adidas uniform. I may be wrong about that, but they've had some amazing Under Armour looks. They've had some very regrettable Under Armour looks, like the Texas flag on the helmet did not translate. The giant red Raider on the helmet that one year. Where are you putting Texas Tech's current uniform set?
You know, they have done some cool things over the years, but you're right. They have done some things, and you're just left scratching your head a little bit. I'd probably put them in the B tier.
Okay.
I think they're pretty solid there. If they'd have done without some of those looks that took them back a little bit, I think they could easily be an A tier. Because they've done some really cool things with helmets along the way that I thought were pretty cool.
Yeah. Anytime they do a throwback, it's an absolute chef's kiss for me. Anytime they have a non-beveled double T, it always looks good. There was a year, I think it was 2018, whenever they beat us, and they wore some throwback uniforms with like stars on the front and the non-beveled T, and it was all white. And oh my God, they looked so good. Yes, but also they've had some wacky uniforms where you're like, what happened? What are you doing? They also can't go wrong with all black. They look always look good in all black. Always.
Agreed.
I think. Yes. Okay. Arizona, the Wildcats, another very classic look, very simple look. What do you think about Arizona?
Yeah, I think they fall in a solid B. Again, just to your point, they've had a good, solid, classic look for a bunch of years, and really haven't strayed too much from it. So I'm with you. I think, I like them at a B tier.
Yeah, I swear they were wearing these exact same uniforms in like 2002. Like, it's like it hasn't changed.
It's been a while.
Y'all are at the University of Texas. You can switch it up. It's allowed. You can do that. Okay, Cincinnati. Former Conference USA foe, current Big 12 foe, Cincinnati. I like the logo. What do you think about the uniforms for Cincinnati?
Yeah, not bad. Again, they've come a long ways from some of the stuff they used to do. So yeah. I'd put them in a B level personally. So yeah, I think that's where they are.
Okay. Now, try to be objective about this. Where would you put West Virginia's uniforms?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they do have some pretty cool looks. They've done some of their special looks that have given tribute to like the coal miners of West Virginia and some things like that. I do honestly like some of that. Think it's pretty cool because they've actually tried to capture the state, if you will. So I honestly would probably put them at a B range.
Okay. I think that's very big of you to do that. So, I mean, I love when they did the Country Roads uniform. Let me put it up on the screen so we can see it bigger. That is just such a great uniform that with the state of West Virginia on the side and like the highway map on the sleeves and on the stripe. I mean, that's a great look. I think that's a really great look. I don't know if you saw it too. Did you see the making of video for this uniform release?
I feel like I did. Yeah. So it is pretty neat stuff.
So in the making of video, like you've got cars coming down this country road, and every time a car comes, they like throw this tarp over the player who's in the uniform, and they like usher him into the shrubs, like to hide the uniform because like regarding state secrecy, and this is very important stuff. But I I love that. But have you seen that? Because if you haven't, I need to find it and send it to you.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in particular. I have to look that up for sure.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Okay, where are we putting the Frogs? Where do the Frogs rank among the Big 12's uniforms?
I'm not sure that there's any other place to put them but at the top level.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, I am biased. I'll go ahead and say it. Like our purple and black. So, I love the Frogs. So let's put them up there at the top level.
And I think that our current uniform set with like the new version of the spikes around the collar, and the helmet stripe, I think this is maybe the best combination of uniforms we've ever had. I really our all whites in particular, I just love our all whites. Maybe my favorite uniform ever is the current all whites. And I mean the black helmet with the big frog. I wish we could wear the chrome helmets more. I miss the chrome helmets that we used to have back in the early 2010s, the mid 2010s. And every now and then I think about those old early GP, just the triangle collar, and a single tear rolls down my cheek because I miss those. But this is a great look. It's a great look. And let me ask you this too, and this is specifically for the TCU fans in the audience: Are we ever going to see a Flying T throwback uniform? Is that ever going to happen?
I would love to say yes, because it is probably one of the, if not the top uniform that all of our fans want to see. I'd love to say that it's coming soon. I don't think it is, but man, let's keep plugging away. We've gotten more of the Flying T out there over the past couple of years. I would love to see it myself one of these days, just if nothing else, as a tribute to that era. Even though there wasn't a lot of winning during that point in time, if I'm right, the '84 Bluebonnet team did wear the Flying T, right?
Yes, lost to West Virginia.
We did. That's right. That's right. Remember watching that game as a kid. So, so I would love to see the Flying T myself one of these days. Don't know if it'll ever happen. I really don't. We might not be able to go that grand, if you will, with the Flying T, but I know a lot of people would love it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's a copyright thing, right? It's still about the copyright holder. Yeah. All I know is if that's a uniform that you were able to keep secret and the Frogs came out of the tunnel surprising everybody wearing that, it would be electric. I think that, all of the geriatrics on the West Side who usually just stand in silence would go nuts. And I would be right there with them. Okay. I'd be very excited. All right, Matt, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else uniform wise, hot takes you'd like to share, you'd like to throw out there?
My man, it's just been a pleasure to be on here. Really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Anything you want to plug? I mean, tell the people where to follow you or anything of that sort. Where to Venmo you for Starbucks or something. I don't know.
That's right. No, I am on Twitter. If you want to follow me, I believe it's TCU Football Ops. Absolutely. So follow me on Twitter. I'm not a huge social media guy. I do just like to push out TCU content, and specifically our football content, anything surrounding our campus, our whole athletic program. So you'll see me probably retweeting more than I'm actually coming up with my own original stuff. But yeah, follow me there, and man, we'll be pushing out more good TCU stuff.
It is the off season. What are you thinking about the Frogs this next year? How are we going to be?
So far we feel pretty good through our workouts. So let's keep the good vibes going, and
we'll take that.
We'll have a great year.
I will take that. I'll take it. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Biggest 12. Again, subscribe to the show. You want to see more of this stuff, don't you? At Big 12 VOCFB. Like, subscribe. We're on YouTube. We simulcast on Twitter as well. Be a part of it. Get involved in the chat. Love to hear from you. Also, follow me on Twitter at Clint_Foster55 And follow my YouTube channel. Got a new video for you. I'm going to have a lot more in the summer. I got more time on my hands at Clint Foster Comedy. Matt, thank you so much again. Everybody else, I love you. Stay safe. I hope your team wins. And go Big 12. We'll see you next time.